here. So for the same reason that Light of Day is very good, Dark of Night is actually one of the premium removal spells in this format. Summons a Nightfall after it kills something, and this one is quick. Not super excited about Guru of the Wounded Petal as a rare. None of the other uncommons in here are super exciting. I guess Incubation Webs is pretty good, right? This is like soft removal. It doesn't actually take the thing off the board, but it does lock it down every turn to continue to give them a spider egg. What do we think here? Is Incubation Webs or Dark of Night the better pick? I think Incubation Webs might be the slightly better removal spell, but I think Dark of Night has the better supporting cards in the format. I think Blood is one of the strongest colors in this format. Okay, so Ruby feels like it's really consistently underdrafted in this format. I think it's one of the weaker shards, but the fact that it's a weaker shard but also underdrafted is valuable. That being said, this is kind of a bomb, right? What uncommon did they take over this? Like, this gives your next troop 2/2 in flight. Like, giving something 2/2 in flight in limited basically turns anything into a bomb, right? I think I'd rather just take this and wait and see what's open. Card's very good. And like on the off chance we get to draft more Coyotls, like it hits a Coyotl, you get a second prophecy off it. Like, oh baby. Oh baby. Like, if we knew this card was coming, we'd have snapped off the Incubation Webs, right? Do I take this Hatchery Malvoker and, like, just move in on... Try moving on Spiders? There's a Wakuna Brave here, which is normally not particularly good, but if I want to stack crappy Coyotls into my deck, I have a Crow Feather here. I guess there's a Storm Rider and a Wakuna Party Guide here, too. I think the Malvoker's the best card in the pack, though. I'm gonna take the Malvoker. Azure Fang Hierarch, create 2 spider eggs for each venom you control, and then put them into the... Yeah, let's just snap that tasty uncommon up right there. We into Sapphire Spooters for sure. Like I said, I like to stay open on at least your second shard this round. We're definitely into Sapphire here. There's money to be made in this set. I think I'm up like 3,000 or 4,000 plat since I started drafting on Friday. It's a ridiculous amount of plat. If you're good at limited, let me tell you about money to be made. Is this card playable? I think any of the other cards are particularly exciting. It's another Spooter. This Spooter's actually really good, right? Is this a Dreaming Fox deck? This is feeling like a Dreaming Fox deck, right? There's a Cruel Venom Blade over there. So I'm gonna take the web board apostate. Hopefully a Cruel Venom Blade rotates. This is another Venom. Or are we just playing, if we end up in Blood Sapphire, do we just play the dork that puts three spider eggs in their deck? I'm blanking on his name. I kind of want to play Fox, though. Yeah, we may or may not end up in Blood. We'll see. We're definitely firmly in Sapphire. This is pretty good. I could put the berry gem in this, right? That doesn't seem completely unreasonable. There's a Cruel Venom Blade here too, but I don't know that I really want to pick that up necessarily. I feel an Upgrade Technician versus Cruel Venom Blade. This is a bomb, which is kind of nice. Fixing Shadowblade Slicer. Fixing Shadowblade Slicer. Fixing Shadowblade Slicer. This is like, God, this card's just too good. Let's find ourselves some red legs and play this card. I can't tell you the number of drafts I've won in this format, but just like playing a 3/3 flyer. There's like talk about the number of drafts I've won by having a 3/3 flyer. It's a non-zero amount of drafts. I mean, you should probably play more shards then. 18, maybe even 19. I don't know if I believe you. I believe that... I believe that people don't play enough resources. Like, this is probably an 18 resource deck. Just playing... A great way to fix is to just play more shards, by the way. BT dubs, you're more likely to have your thresholds if you're just drawing more shards. Also, like, we have this Hatchery Malvoker, but, like, we don't have any actions yet, really, right? We got, like, this Dark of Night, and that's it. That being said, like, this is kind of a removal magnet, so it's probably fine. They, like, see it, and they assume we're gonna have... They assume we're gonna have stuff to go with it.
Oh.
Hello, youngest son. You want more pretzels? Get your bowl. It's a trap. Yeah, Milgem and him could be okay. I agree. I concur. And gives the next thing in your deck mill too. Well, we have a lot of low powered orcs. Yeah, limited decks and hex are 40 cards. One of the things about limited decks and Hex, though, is that because you have a champion power in Hex, which kind of rewards you for when you draw too many resources, you generally want to err on the side of playing more resources rather than less. According to Corey Jones, it's theoretically going to be on the tablets by the end of the year. I wouldn't ever expect it to come to cell phones, but tablets probably eventually. You don't even have any flickering gobblers. Sounds like an awful time to be drafting Sapphire Ruby. Man! Holy gods, this pack. Do we think this pack is good? How do we feel about this pack, chat fam? How do you feel about this pack? Just like all the things I want out of life? Is this Priest of the Sacred Web? I feel like it's Priest, right? And then we like hope that Hatchery, Tormentor, or Emirate come back around. There's a Profane Ritualist in here too that's real good. I think it's Sacred Web. I think it's the Priest. Because we don't actually have a lot of Dreadling producers. So the Emirate's better when you have a lot of Dreadling producers, which you don't currently have. Oh, baby. Rune Web Cult. Let me tell you about a common that's nutso if you could support the Venom Allegiance. Just like 2/4 flight, put 4 eggs in your opponent's deck. Sign me up. Sign me up. Are you ready? Bone Saw is ready. You're like 2-4 flight for 4. That's super reasonable. Our archetype's got uncommons. It's amazing. It's amazing. Give me those sweet uncommons. Finger, let's... Oh, geez. What is this one? Oh, geez. All right, let's hopefully wheel the Hatchery Cultivator or the Ice. We got this Archaeomancer here, though. Arachnomancer, that's what it's called. Our curve's a little high. Do I want to grab another Deadeye to drag the curve down? Prelight's pretty good, but there's a very reasonable chance that this card wheels. I think I'm going to grab the Deadeye because it's really good against aggressive decks. Yeah, I think I want the 2-drop. I don't know that I have enough playables to prioritize the... Was there a Massacre in that pack? Man. What? There's 4 people have seen this pack? There's a Runeweb cult. It's the Dark of Night, right? Like, I just don't have enough removal. I would love another Runeweb Cultivator, but, like... Dark of Night seems fine. There's a Festering Decay in this pack, too. Think. Please. If we're really lucky, that Runeweb Cultivator is going to wheel. We gotta make up for that draft we just 0-1 dropped. I don't think I want a second Slicer. Actually, the Wakuna Braith's certainly the cut before the Slicer, right? Maybe, like I said, we'll just play more. We'll play more resources. Also, like, the way this deck is shaping up, these Hatchery Malvokers aren't actually that good. I'm pretty sure we're playing these Deadeyes. We need those cards. That's another 3-drop. There's an argument to taking the Immortal Tears, but I kind of want this 3-drop. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cruel Venom Blade. There's a Ghastly Exchange in there too, which is like, okay. Hatchery Tormentor wield. God bless. Card's pretty good. Applies pressure to your opponent and put some eggs in their deck. Get some egg on their face. So, Trail Mix is candy with obstacles in it. It's candy with obstacles. I'm going to take the Immortal Tears for fixing here. I agree that we're going to need some fixing. Right? Trail mixes candy with obstacles in it.
Yeah,
We've already got like 19-ish playable cards. Yeah, actually, there's dual shards in these packs. I'll highlight one when one comes around. This is still correct. This is still just pack 2. You want your fork? Fork you, tiny child. Fork you.
Cheat. Cheating?
You don't need a treat. All you do is eat treats, tiny fat boy. Don't stick a fork in me, you little cannibal. Ow! Okay, you've lost your fork privileges after you stabbed me in the throat with it. Yeah, you think that's funny? You think that's funny, jerk? Yeah! Speaking of dual shards, wield the shard of cutting here. So this is a slow shard. It doesn't make a resource the turn you play it, but it makes a blood or a sapphire force. So the fixing in Hex is much worse than the fixing in Magic, because the fixing in Hex, you have to pick between one or the other. It doesn't make both forever. But in a way, having worse fixing in general is good for constructed. Part of the reason why Magic's constructed formats have been so miserable, I think, for a while, is because the fixing is so good in Magic on average that, like, you could just play good stuff mush. Like, the Teamer Energy deck, for instance, is just basically good stuff mush. And, like, the fact that you can't play mono good stuff mush in Hex is a good thing. I think they definitely have room to explore some of the fixing in Hex. Like, I think there would be interesting, like, a slow duel that gave both thresholds, but at the same time didn't give you a charge. Is this card good? If so, why? Can anyone please explain? We'll just continue being whitelisted for the afternoon. Corey felt bad about giving me a bad deck in the last draft, so he's just like, you know what, you can have a commander prompt in this one. Go nuts, Hogland. Go nuts. Go nuts with the commander promptly. Got his little whipping stick here. Don't even look at the rest of it. You open the commander prompt, draft it. Get in my deck. Get in my deck. Get in my deck. Need some Declan Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, Declan Cam. Declan is precious. I mean, I don't think anyone was ever down on Commander Prompt in Limited. People didn't believe it was constructed playable for a while. Huh. Wow, this pack is good. It's probably the Strangle, right? I just, like, want more premium removal and quick premium removal. There's, like, a Rune Web Cultivator and a Shackling Strands in here, too, that are just, like, great. So, let's go ahead and grab the Strangle. Hopefully the Rune Web Cultivator or the Strands wheel back around to us. I turned the webcam down so you stand up. This is how children work. This is how children work. You do one thing and then they do another. Oh, Dread Apprentice is good too. It is a fuzzy-headed child, you're not wrong. And he's got less hair than the other one. The big one's got even more hair. So, I feel like this deck has enough clunk in the trunk that I don't actually want this Gralk. I think I just want the Rune Web. Am I insane to take the Cultivator over the Gralk? Am I insane to take the Cultivator over the Gralk? How do we feel? How do we feel? Ow. Ow. Gralk is instant speed tempo. It's not instant speed removal. It stuns two things, so like it buys you a couple of turns. I guess it's a big boy too. All right, we'll take that. There's nothing in this pack I really want to play, so I'm gonna go ahead and draft this deny. Please get off of me. Go over there. You're done. You're done climbing on me. I don't know that I want to play deny in this format. Dread Botanist is like an okay 2. It's good with Arachnomancer. That's really the only thing I had that pays me off for spiders, though, right? So I didn't get any Emirates. So, like, is Botanist better than the Windborne Ascension? Windborne Ascension often just conscripts bombs, right? Oh, we have the Shadowblade Slicer. Yeah, good call. Good call. Shadowblade Slicer makes the Dreadlings better. No, you're not sitting on my lap. Go. There wasn't a well in that pack. There was a dual shard. There was a slow shard. Do I wanna splash this arcade soil off of these immortal tears? Is that a thing I want to do in my life? Man, it's tough. It's tough being 2, huh? Dad tells you the big no word. Your dad is so mean. Draft is $7 American. Think I'm gonna take a call. I think we're like packing in 15 more shards here and like calling this a day at this point, right? I have these immortal tiers plus this, that's like 18. And Call the Grave is main deckable. I guess the rebuys are good threats. I have a lot of good threats. It's good with Shadowblade Slicer. Buy that for $1. This card is insane. This card is very, very good. Just on its own. Like, close your eyes and pick any random troop in my deck and add the line of text +2/+2 and flying to it. Like, I need to make a cut for this Call the Grave. Maybe it's a Monsegai Deadeye at this point. Maybe I picked up enough 2s that I don't need that. I like boarding Broodguard in against controlling decks. Do I have enough actions to make these hatchery Malvokers good enough? I feel like I might not. Am I crazy to cut one of these? I'm gonna cut a Malvoker. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only got like 5 actions. Yeah, I'm gonna cut a Malvoker. How many Venom did I end up on then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's plenty. Me up over here, drag this down. Oh, I guess I'm gonna go Fox, right? If I go Fox, the Malvoker gets better. Alright, what's the last cut from here then? I don't think I have quite enough payoffs for Zorath to be worthwhile. It's just so slow and clunky. That was a battle cry. I promise it was a battle cry. Monster guy, did I? Okay, monster guy, did I? Let's go 7 of these, 8 of these. Gives me 10, 11, and then 10. Yeah, that's probably fine. Socket on power and pain. Okay, but they're different kinds of slow. So, I'll put a berry gem in here. Oh, yeah. So, paying 7 resources. Why is my thing? There's my decklist tool. All right, sweet. Paying 7 resources, 7 charges to draw cards, like drawing more cards helps the deck be slow. Like the Zorath champion power is like doing something aggressive, but doing it slowly. Which is awkward. So like, if my deck is slow, I like drawing extra cards. That way, as we get to the late game, I get to snowball my advantage. Whereas like the Bloodspinner Zorath champion power is like only good when you have a lot of ways to leverage it. I feel like we're going to have a number of games with this deck if I play Bloodspinner Zorath where I'm just not going to have time to leverage the champion power. All right, Torque. Let's talk about some... Oh, I didn't pick a battle board. I didn't pick a battle board. Got turn 2 Strangle, turn 3 Venom Blade, possibly turn 4 Darkadite. Sign me up. Won the coin flip as well. This feels like a jungle battle board. Welcome to the jungle, baby. I mean, our deck needs plenty of double blood, so I don't think that's necessarily a consideration. I'm also a big fan of Dreaming Fox's 24 points of starting health. Big fan. Gobble up them charge. You weren't using that charge, were you, Torque? I can borrow that. This card's so good. It's so good. Yeah, there's a Mono Blood deck that's competitive this season, and Mono Ruby's been competitive on and off. Yeah, there was a Mono Wild variation that 5-2'd the last bash, right? So, just gonna Dark of Night this. Do I want to Dark of Night this? I'm gonna Dark of Night this just to start ticking them down. Like, it lets me use my resources efficiently this turn. I've got, like, more pieces of pseudo removal here in my hand. Just get right up into this here. It's possible I might just want to play this Cruel Venom Blade out just because, like, I have so many Scrouge cards in my hand. Just a 3/3. Alright, let's strangle the crap out of that one. And just gotta get my resources used efficiently. I want to do this. I think I'd rather do this than do this for the turn. Just go ahead and get this Grow Feather going ASAP. And draw into our prophesized card suitor. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Huh. Not just play this commander prompt? Kinda do. Playing this out might bait them into using removal, though. I'm gonna play this because I think it might bait them into using removal. I think I'd rather the prompt live than this. We can go like block, block, sack this. Put some spooters in their deck. That's assuming they champion power this turn. Maybe I'm just not blocking with this, right? Should like take my hit for 4, I'm at 25 health. Yeah, I'm just gonna block here. And then sack. And then sack this to put some eggs in their deck. And like next turn I can play this Cruel Venom Blade out. All scroungy like. Just like start beating them down here. Bring them for like 4 a turn right now. This makes it 6 a turn. That's pretty good. Wow, that's good. Well then, huh. Guess I'm doing this. I'm just gonna crack them for 5 in the sky. I think I can race here. Depends on how much removal they have. I guess they're only attacking for 10, 16 next turn, and I've got them dead on the backswing. It's a little unfortunate for me. Now they can attack with these two. See if they have a trick. Probably. That's unfortunate. Maybe I should have left this back. Am I just like playing out both of these? I think I am. This is draft. Yeah, I probably should have been a little bit more defensive and left this back. I'm probably more of a favorite as this match goes long. This could have eaten this. Although I guess I would have just eaten this one instead of the other one. But then, like, I still have another 5-4 in play. It probably ends up fine for me no matter how I slice it. It's pretty good. Every 3 wins, you get another one. And since we have 4 of them here, yeah, 4 of them. I think I want to change anything. Guess they're a little bit aggressive. Maybe Monsegai Deadeye is fine. Let's do that. That was a fling. It's a fling for lethal. And again, I was too aggressive that game. I shouldn't have. I should have been recognized that the longer the game was going, the more I was going to be favored, so I should have been a little bit more defensive. The turn that my opponent got to deploy both of their 5-3s, I also could have blocked a little bit more aggressively, and then they wouldn't have been able to get those onto the board like they did, and I would have been in a much better spot as well. Nah, I think the Arachnomancer's fine. You need cards like Arachnomancer at the top of your curve, so that way you are favored as you go late. Like, the problem that game wasn't my curve, it was that I was too aggressive with the cards that I had. That's fine. Immortal Tears gets us our second blood threshold. Got some removal and a Cruel Venom Blade. Blood here. Just gonna go ahead and play this out. They have removal for it. It's a little bit sad because they can take me for 2 as well, but this is fine. They can't, like, boomsmith me that they can do that this turn. Wow, I guess I should have played this. Although I guess next turn I get to do this plus Strangle, which is pretty reasonable. Likely until set 8 drops. They haven't officially said. I assume they're going to play it by ear based on server activity and popularity. Sure. Please attack with everything. Ding, ding, ding. I'm gonna block this here. I'm gonna strangle this guy. And then these will trade, and I'll eat this Pyretic Performer with the trigger on the Monsegai Deadeye. End up at 20. Hey, Arachnomancer, sure. For the whopping 0 spiders that we have in their deck so far. It's a feature. It's just my 3/3 for 5. We're running low on leftovers, but like, if we draw resources, we're gonna have to play this Gralk into this, and if we don't draw resources, we're gonna draw cards that we can guaranteed play, so we're probably in an okay spot here. The speed and double damage? Sure. I think I'm just, like, taking this trade, right? Yeah, like, I don't have any spiders in their deck at this point, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the trade here. If they offer it. I just like playing this 5/5 flyer for 6. Yeah, I think I am. Like, use my resources, guaranteed this turn, start beating them down. It's just like a 5-turn clock all on its lonesome. You know, one of the 5 cards in their hand right now is a Valor. Valor from their Gallant Duelist. Really like these animated sleeves. They're so nice and subtle. Like, you don't even notice they're animated really until like they like something catches out of the corner of your eye. Like, man, is that moving? And then you zoom in and then you can really see it. But it appears to be having some connection issue. Do 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 do. Three, 3. 4, 4. Oh, baby, we're gonna put an egg in their deck. Have some egg on your face, opponent. I'm still missing the PA sleeves and, what's the other one? PA and Bride are the 2 that I'm missing. That's rude. I think I'm just gonna Dark of Night this. Like, uses my resources efficiently. It takes a Must Answer threat off the table. Else we start killing them slightly faster. Does that actually change the clock? It doesn't, right? Like, preserves my life total. The Kismet draft is just the normal draft queue. Commander promptly, smack you for 7. These are my bombs. There are many like them, but these ones are mine. It's hop right out into the normal draft queue in client. No, not really. Oh, they could chat power this plus flig it? No idea if this person was in the pod. Actual 0 clue. No blocks on here. If they want to fling this to kill commander prompt, that's fine. They're going to be dead in 2 to this. I'm going to attack with this. Hey, Boomsmith is also a common though too, so pretty reasonable a common, especially limited. Need some more pretzels, kiddo? Alright, on to the third game here. I think I'd buy that the Arachnomancer is pretty bad. I don't even know if I like Arachnomancer in general this deck. You want these? Or no? Flip your bowl over. There you go. Do you have anything that's much better, though? I don't really feel like I have anything that's much better. I could put, like, this Fiend of Dulzad. That doesn't seem very good. I guess with the plus power gem, this is a 3-2. That's probably fine. My opponent's got a lot of 3 power aggressive troops, or 3 defensive aggressive troops. I agree. As far as, like, Arachnomancer decks go, our deck is not a very good Arachnomancer deck. Hopefully we can get a third resource on the draw here. Not having any ice in our deck sucks. Kind of sucks that we didn't get any of those. I took that hit there because I wanted to try and have this in play when I killed one of my opponent's things. The double thresholds aren't really that big of a deal. This can trade with this still, which is nice. Instead of the -1/-1 from the Monster guy, did I? This was much better than Arachnomancer. Just like trade with your thing. Alright. Now we can laugh about my double thresholds. This is quick, right? Yep. Please be a Sapphire Shard. Please be a Sapphire Shard. Alright. This can almost trade with that. Sapphire Shard there would have been ideal because it would have let us do this plus this. Hopefully we can't get something good here. When we get to trade this inside of combat, we're going to get to be able to Scrounge one of these slicers, which is very good for us. That's pretty terrible. Strangle's not bad. Buried another Voracious Zombie, that's kind of good. We're only playing 16 shards in this deck, but we have 2 Immortal tiers, so... Dark Art's actually less good in this limited format than it was in others, because there's a ton of quality removal in this format. Actually feel like we're not in a terrible spot. Really, if we don't hit a 5th shard here, we might end up being up a creek a little bit, but I feel like we're doing okay. If they attack, I'm going to double up here. Like, be a little bit sad if they have, like, a Razor's Edge, but... I think this is fine. Yeah, so we take 4. They lose their zombie, we lose our guys. Ding, ding, ding. It's even... It's even the second Sapphire for that. And, like, we're slowly burying our opponent here, and our next resource is going to draw us 2 cards. So, like, we're in a pretty good spot here, right? This Slicer can trade with the Brutalizer if it wants. Hold a week, sure. Combat training. All right. So we're going to 14 here. We're going to stabilize at a pretty high life total. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to strangle this right away. Get my eggs. Make sure they can't draw like some kind of trick. Next turn we get to champ power, then put some more eggs in their deck. Just like we drew it up. And by that I mean I'm blocking. Again, like, their deck has a lot of getches in it. I just want to keep my life total high. Fate Weave would be awkward to implement Magic. You can't Fate Weave verbatim as is, and like, it's like, fetch lands are a good example of like why Fate Weave would be bad at Magic. Like, fetch lands are fine in a power level aspect, but like, in a mechanically implementing this aspect, it's clunky and awkward. But I'm having some more connection issues here. Sorry about that. I'm feeling pretty good about this game. The last card is combat trading. We're going to draw 2 extra cards next turn. We've kind of preserved our life total to a pretty high spot. We've got the Shadow Blade Slicer. This is going to be our 3rd troop in our bin, so this is like revved up and ready to go. It's pretty good too. Might just do that this turn. Like, put a 5/4 into play. Draw. Let's do create 2 spider eggs, ready to control over another venom enters. So what do I want to do here? I think I'd rather put more eggs in their deck, right? I'm going to go ahead and play this first. This means I'm not going to be able to scrounge the Shadow Blade Slicer, but hopefully with a 5/4 crush, I'm not going to need to. And then when I play this next turn, it's going to put 4 eggs in their deck. Wow, that was one of their better draws. And they put Swift Strike in it. That's a tilt. Well. Well, I went from being in an amazing spot to being pretty dead. Why would we switch to Zorath? How would Zorath have... We'd be in a much worse spot if we were playing Zorath. We wouldn't have gotten to draw 2 extra cards, and we'd have less health right now. We have 2 Dark of Nights in our deck. Let's jump with this one. It's really frustrating. Can't attack. I think I'm just supposed to play this. I'm dead to removal if I don't play this because they can just champ power and then hit me for 14 with double damage. Oh. Nah, I think I'm gonna put myself dead to removal here. Hopefully we hit a spider. Nope. Is that what they're calling the thing that lets you highlight Hearthstone cards and mouse over on the Twitch stream? If so, yes, I agree that that is excellent, and I would like to look into making one myself, but I looked and there wasn't any source code available for what they had, so... Okay, well, rewarded for waiting on this. Hopefully we find a Dark of Night here. Alright. We're not going to scrounge this anytime soon, so at this point I'm going to go ahead and just play this out so we're not dead to removal. Hopefully we hit an egg or two to have some chump blocks with those. I haven't played a Dark of Night yet, right? Is Dark of Night my only answer here? I guess, yeah, it's pretty much the only answer. Now am I supposed to trade with this? I feel like I am. We're definitely putting this here. Am I supposed to trade these? I think I am. Alright. Need a spider. Opponent is far luckier than we are. I feel like there was nothing I couldn't have done differently that game. Like, looking back at it, we didn't draw a removal. Like, we were in such a good spot, and then they drew their bomb, and we just never hit a thing. I always feel like really salty when I say something like that, but like honestly, sometimes there's games you lose where they're just like, it's like, well, we like played the best with the cards we had, and the cards weren't good enough. Like, I feel like that a lot of the time that's a cop-out. So if anyone saw something or has a suggestion for different lines we could have took at different points in that game that I missed, feel free to point them out. But that's why eggs are such a tilting mechanic too. Like, you have to hit on your opponent's deck too. We had like 7 or 8. We had 5 or 6 eggs in their deck at that point. I'm just gonna correct Jotra there for a second. So, something that really annoys me that TCG players do, and Magic players do this all the time, so this isn't a hex thing. You said my opponent flooded out. My opponent didn't flood out. My opponent just saw nearly half of their deck. So they drew, actually they saw half their deck, right? Like, they had 25 cards at the end. So like, not a different show? Okay. So my opponent didn't flood out. My opponent just drew half their cards and had, like, well within a standard deviation of the mean of a number of resources in their deck. So, like, it was just a long game, so they saw a lot of cards. And when you see a lot of cards, you see a lot of resources. Like, that's That's how statistics work. It's like, I always hate that. It's like, I just flooded out and there's nothing I do. It's like, well, you had 10 land, you had 10 resources, and you saw 30 cards, and there's 20 resources in your 60 cards, so seeing 10 in 30 isn't really flooding out. It's just like, it was a long game, so like, you drew a lot of resources because the game was long. Okay, Immortal Tears doing its best slow shard impersonation here, which is fine. Definitely better than missing a shard drop. Shame that wasn't an action. Didn't trigger the hatchery Malvoker. That being said, we get to jam the Rune Web Cultivator in next turn, put some eggs in their deck. The Word and Moon deck generally has more inevitability than most other decks, but like, when we're putting eggs into their deck, that's definitely not strictly true of them over us. Hopefully they don't have an interrupt here. The flood versus not flood and screw versus not flute. Opponent did not draw 7 shards. No, correct. The amount flooding is proportional to the number of cards in your deck. So if there's 16 resources in your deck, in your 40 card deck, and you draw 20 cards, you should draw 8 resources. Now that's not flooding, that's statistically exactly average. In fact, my opponent's deck probably had more than 16 resources in it, so they likely drew fewer shards than they would in an average game. Getting like slowly beat down by like death by Sparkle Cap here. And bury a card off my opponent's deck. It's actually not very good because they haven't put any eggs in their deck yet. I wonder if I'm just supposed to go... Wow, that's a... Yeah, I guess I should have just gone dupe. That being said, my opponent has multiple Harvest Moon in their main deck, so I feel good about that. They could be playing a card that has a text box, instead they're just gaining some life. I'm gonna trade here. Oh, that's not true. I'm gonna chump here. And that way, if I hit a non-slow shard, I can Shadow Blade Slicer to kill this. Slow shard, tilt. Well, I mean, the good news is we have a 5th resource now. It's kind of sad that the other guy, the Malvoker, died without ever putting an egg in their deck. We're going to get to put an egg in their deck this turn, though. Hatchery Tormentor's going to crack them and then trigger. That's kind of bold. Putting my Scrounge Slicer into my deck. Is that bugged? Graphical bug there. This is really aggressive. I'm just gonna try and kill my opponent here. This puts an egg in their deck too. This deals damage to them, right? Oh yeah, so this is just gonna put egg on their face every turn with this Hatchery Tormentor. Every turn, your deck grows larger. We're holding this Webborn for when they gain a charge. Webborn only gives us a charge if there's a charge to take away from our opponent. They're hiding our Nightfall. God, that's good. And then we hit a spider, so we're going to start triggering this anyways. Get got, opponent. And they played a thing to gain a charge. Has anyone had good results with the Winter Moon? Like, the Winter Moon deck seems really unimpressive every time I play it. Or play against it. I haven't played it myself, but every time I play against it, it doesn't seem very good. Have some egg on your face. That kind of sucks that I didn't have Dark of Night up there. I got 3 more eggs out of it though, so I guess it's like not the end of the world. I don't know why they played that resource as opposed to cycling. That's most of the eggs in their deck most likely, so that's pretty good for us. What am I Call the Grieving? I think I'm Call the Grieving the 2/4 flyer, right? Like that just puts 4 eggs in their deck right away. And it gives me an evasive threat. Let's put some eggs in their deck too. Some egg on your face, opponent. Tilt. Says my Dingler, there are many like it, but this one is mine and it is pox-ridden. Hopefully these spiders just give us enough inevitability to win this game. When you shackling strands a spiderling. Oh, look, another spider friend. Yay, spider friends. 3 troops in here, right? I don't have anywhere near 3 troops in there. Huh, do I want to just play this as a flyer? Yeah, I'm just gonna play this as a flyer. Let's go. Beep, beep, beep. Let's go. How, Tom? The Harvest Moons were just them spending cards to like they're just treading water here. Like they're not actually doing anything meaningful or relevant. Yeah, the new announcement is great for Immortal. format having more support is fantastic. My opponent might also get to a point where, like, oh, this puts eggs in their deck too. Where my opponent just, like, can't afford to play their cards because they're gonna deck. But, like, the Harvest Moons weren't actually good. They were just, like, kinda passable because it's buying them time and letting them tread water for a little bit longer. But, like, they're just gonna die to these spiders if they don't have an answer. I can Gralk next turn and, like, nug these things. I guess if they get to their... I guess if they get to their Gralk, they could be okay here at some point. Although maybe I just want an Oracle Song. Yeah, I'm just gonna Oracle Song and put 3 more eggs into their deck. Let's just, like, max out on spiders. Just trigger my Malvoker. Wakuna Crowfeather. And a Shadow Blade Slicer that's already been scrounged once. It's actually really valuable. That means we might be able to scrounge it again and give -6/-6. Opponent's just, like, getting cracked for 5 every turn here. Oh yeah, sure. Lux. They just think they're winning this race? Is that what's up? Let's start with this and see what happens. Done the crap out of these guys. Alright, country for 7. Sure. Yeah, put a non-resource on top of your deck, why don't you? Statistically, it's an egg. Egg on your face! Lethal egg on your face! That's probably fine. What you got? Death by Spooter. This is match 2. You lost the first one. Do I want to Verdict of the Ancient Kings? They've got some annoying spells, right? Like, verdicting their... Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I like that idea. I'm gonna put in the Bodyguard, too. Bury in this bad Mamma Jamma. Cruel Venom Blade doesn't seem particularly good. Can do that, I think. Get the Wakuna Crowfeather and the Venom Blades. Now the Deadeye's probably worse than the Crowfeather. Crowfeather's decent. Making flying threats is pretty good. Making flying threats is pretty good. Seems okay. Need some resources, but the non-resources in there are pretty good. If you look at your hand, you only need to draw resources. It's usually fine. A couple to make your first few. It's technically a resource. You're gonna need some Sapphire here, but thankfully our opponent's going to put a ton of pressure on us. How would you rate this current draft pool compared to the other one? This deck seems like a solid, like, B, maybe a B+. Like, not doing anything particularly exciting, but, like, not terribly embarrassing either. Those are the resources I asked for, but they are not Sapphire like I wanted, even though we have more Sapphire than Blood in our deck. Potato Donut! Ready to pop the Twitch baby emote 9-month resubscription. Thank you for the continued support. I really do appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Let's play the waiting game. Opponent and I have different types of inevitability. My inevitability comes from the fact that... Am I just attacking? It's not running anything stupid. Sure, yep. My opponent effectively just paid 2 to discard 2 cards. Soul Deathblade. Sure, you have a 2/2 flyer. I'm gonna kill this and start draining them out. I think that's fine. Let's be aggressive now at this point. I guess they gained 8, so maybe being aggressive is wrong. Let's like sit back on our haunches. If I would have hit a Sapphire that turn, I probably would have waited to kill that until I could see if I get another Sapphire for Malvoker. This attack was probably wrong. Alright. Another Windborn Ascension. Should win this by decking them out to prove a point. Man, if we hit a Sapphire, this is gonna put 6 eggs in their deck and then this will bury them. This deals damage to an opposing champion, put 3 eggs in their deck. That's scary. I'm gonna wait to pull the trigger on this Strangle, because if we draw a Sapphire, I want to go Malvoker Strangle. Not, and then we got punished because we drew this. It's kind of a tilt. Get that one right on out of there. Attack with this. So a little bit punished for trying to get value out of this Malvoker with the Strangle. Since we drew a different castable, we would have liked to have played. I'm gonna lead on this as bait for a Dingle. They showed us they had multiple Dingles, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this Malvoker out, and then we're just gonna hang out. Just gonna hang out at this point. No reason to get too crazy. Literally the deck list is on your screen. I'll make it a little bigger even. This decklist tool is so much more useful for Limited than Constructed, it feels like. Like, in Constructed, you could, like, kind of guesstimate, like, what cards people are probably playing. In Limited, it's really useful, because we're like, oh, did you draft X? And it's like, well, take a look and see. Take a look and see. I'm going to start with this, I think. Because if we hit a Verdict, I'm going to wait to do this. Yeah, sweet. Just like that. I'm gonna play this out too, because I wouldn't mind this eating a Dingle with the context of our hand. We're gonna sacrifice this Dingler to, gosh! This is gonna put 10 eggs in my opponent's deck? This game is over. Get some egg on your face, opponent. We can bury them 6? You drowning, opponent? Are you drowning? And then, like, hopefully they try to counter this, and then we verdict them and put 6 more eggs in their deck! Have all the egg on your face, opponent. Have all the egg on your face. More than good. It's great. And we can sack a spider and make 3 more eggs. All of the eggs! Sack this Dingler. Oh, no! Oh, now this is only gonna put 8 eggs in their deck now. That's so sad. That's so sad. Alright, if I draw a shard here, do I just bury them with the Guardian of Dulzan then? Alright, good. I didn't have to ask the hard-hitting questions. Do I want 2 extra eggs, or do I want to bury them 2 cards? I think I actually want to bury them 2 cards. Trigger Mahatchery Tormentor. Have some more egg on your face, opponent. Spider time, spider time, yeah. Spider time, spider time, yeah. Rise, my spooters, rise to the occasion. Ah, Commander Prompt. Things we didn't need to win this game, but will cause it to end more quickly. About a Verdict of the Ancient Kings. Triggers. Have some more egg on your face. Have some more egg on your face, opponent. Spider time. Spider time, yeah. Spiders are like the definition of zero-sum fun, right? You're like, man, this is a blast from this side of the table. Oh yeah, put the harvest boots back in. What's the line? How many eggs is this gonna hit, chat fam? How many eggs, or do they concede with us not having seen how many eggs we hit? I'm excited that they answered the commander prompt, because I really want to bury 6 cards off of their deck. Oh no, I don't have a resource. I don't have a resource. I'm so unlucky. Why am I so unlucky, chat? I'm just the unluckiest, really. Put some more egg on their face. Oh yeah. Draw 3 cards. Oh, the spiders. Look at all the spider little things popping out here. Pippity pop. The fun don't stop, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Some sleeves and a battle board on this before we play this last one out here, shall we? The hatchery sleeve. Oh, baby. Is that too on the nose if we play the hatchery sleeve? Let's see if we can get the old 2-1 here. Pretty easy redraw here. No blood. I was watching my wife play a draft the other night, and her opponent in the final round complained about losing to BS RNG, and like they kept a hand that only had one type of threshold, and like they never drew their second threshold, but like they kept 7 cards on the play. So it's like, well, if you kept 7 cards on the play, you probably had some control over that BS RNG by like mulliganing a little bit more. Yeah, feel free to link. Links are enabled. Act like an adult, you'll be treated like an adult. Act like a child, you'll be treated like a child. Alright. Seeing like, this is what flooding means, right? Like, we've seen 6 resources and 9 cards, so we're a little bit flooded right now. Because the ratio of shards to total number of cards drawn that we have is above the average for the number of resources that we have in our deck. That's how you define flooded versus not. We are going to get to our champ power on 6, though, which is nice. Yeah, Mono Ruby's great. Fireball's a really good card. Man, double Burning Tendrils? That's gas. I'm just gonna Dark Knight this. Use my resources for the turn. Call the Grave is actually a clutch draw here, because it means we get to Webboard Apostate. Although I guess... Huh. Actually, that was maybe wrong, right? I thought I was going to get to Champ Power turn sooner, but I'm actually a resource short here. I should have gotten their Dread... Yeah, that was a huge mistake, actually. Wow. So I should have gotten their Dread Apprentice, because then I could have made 6 Dreadlings with it, which would have fueled both of these. I was thinking I was going to get to Champ Power that turn, but I don't. Like, we'd be in a pretty unlosable spot if I could scrounge both of these out. And now we're pretty far behind. Now we're pretty far behind. Like, I'd have been able to play this, eat this, and then I could have a 3-2 in play still, because I would have gotten cheap shotted either. Yep. Yeah, so I punted this game. Just gonna get run down by their board. Yep. Yeah, we're pretty fucked. Yep. Messed it up. It's weird. And see, games like that, it's really easy to just, like, be like, oh, my opponent's draw was really good, and their deck's just better than mine, and I'm unlucky. And, like, that's the kind of crap you hear from people that, like, lose at limited all the time. And it's like, no, what we actually did was, like, we made a poor sequencing decision and then got punished for it. Like, there's always an excuse when you're playing a TCG. There's always, if you look hard enough, you can find a reason why it wasn't your fault that you lost the game. There's some little bit of every single game that you play that doesn't go perfectly exactly the way you wanted it to go. And it's really easy to just write off the entire game as like, well, that little thing that didn't go my way is the reason why I lost, instead of like looking for the things that you could have actually done differently and improved on. It's okay. Double Malvoker's pretty nuts. So we get cheap shotted out of the game. I didn't win. I'm so unlucky. Yep. Yeah, Epic's a lot of fun. No locks. I mean, like, if your opponent was on the play with a natural turn 3 card, maybe you should be playing a deck that's better against Tron. Maybe you should realize that Modern has a lot of matchup variance built into it, and it's your fault for choosing to play Modern. So, you basically always have decisions, regardless of whether or not you want to recognize them. Choosing to play a high variance format is a decision that you made. We'll do this and put 6 eggs in their deck. You don't want to trade these for that. We actually don't have that many actions in our deck, so it's pretty fortunate that we've drawn so many with our 2 Malvokers here. That's a pretty good... Sup, baby! JW with the 9-month resubscription. Thank you very much for the continued support. I do appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Kill this, put 6 more eggs in their deck. Less than most people would have you imply. Less than most people would imply. The cup isn't working. Let's try and empty it out. Streamlabs been having some issues lately. That's true, there haven't been, okay, fine. That's a 5-4. That's Dark Knight. Am I just Dark of Knighting this? I really don't want to take... I kind of want to take a hit from it. We're definitely doing that. If I wait a turn, I can get an extra trigger off of this. Like, is getting an extra trigger worth taking 5 points? Maybe? I don't actually know if that's true. Hitting an Onslow shard here would be gas. It would let us Oracle Song plus Dark of Night and put 12 eggs in their deck. Yep. This is going to be one of those games where their deck is more eggs than not eggs. They're never going to draw any. Are now 50 cards in their limited deck. We don't have any more actions. I want to scrounge this. Why, egg mechanic? Why? Oh, there's so much egg on your face, opponent. Why aren't you dead? This is why eggs are not constructed playable. Exactly. Why did they just get back? You ever bricked off of 2 people's decks at once before? Ooh, we found a piece of candy. About to die to their Dread Apprentice. Oh, they got that back. That makes sense. All right, go to 2. All right, so that game, there really wasn't anything we could do about it, right? We just, like, that game, we just kind of got run out of it. Like, opponent definitely had a pretty good curve, and we just never hit any eggs out of their deck. But again, there were a lot of different decisions I could have made in the first game of that set, and there's more than one game in every match in a TCG. Like, I love when people come up and they're like after a round, and they're like, oh, I just got really unlucky in my third game, there's nothing I can do. It's like, okay, well, even if that's genuinely true, which it probably wasn't, like, what happened to your other game, right? Like, it takes 2 game losses to lose a match. So, pretty awful day. Pretty awful day for draft runs. The old 1-3 on the day. You know?